Greetings.
Greetings. Welcome to Film Gazers, a podcast focusing on the science fiction, horror, fantasy trinity, and 20th century entertainment. I'm Steph.
I'm Jess. We're cousins slash besties. Join us as we reminisce, discuss, and review films from our childhood.
Meowdy.
Meowdy.
Welcome to Jam Packed January, the official first full episode of 2025.
Entering season 4.
Oh my God, yeah, duh. That's even more exciting.
4 seasons.
That's
That's crazy.
crazy. We've been doing this for 4 years now.
It's gone by
Um,
very quickly.
it really has, and it's been a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing it. It's like such a part of our lives now.
Yeah. It gives me something to look forward to with the editing.
Yeah, and I just really enjoy picking out the movies and like I believe I've discussed before, there was a period where I just wasn't watching much or, just all of that. So this is like really rekindled my love of movies again. And
hmm
and
And
then
it gets me
we,
thinking, like, oh, that would be a good one for the pod.
I know. And then seeing connections and like I love doing the facts. Like I love doing my little wormholes that I get into about reading about just all this random stuff in the, movie industry and what it takes to make these things.
I do too, because now I can bring it up in conversations. I'm like, did
Yeah.
you know? Gives me more small talk material with my customers.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, jam-packed January is kind of like the umbrella term because we not only have aliens almost done waiting.
Almost done
I
waiting.
know. I mean, the more and more talk of aliens, and they're like, we're at that point in, I guess, like society where we're like, yeah, they exist. They probably do. We think they're like coming here sometimes, but like we got so much other shit going on. It's
Yeah, climate wise.
yeah, everyone's like, and I'm like, that's probably why the aliens are coming now because we fucked our planet up. And they're like, what are they going to do about it? Like, this, I think, is the big decision. This is like if we're going to meet the Vulcans or not. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Are we
Like,
worthy of contact
and
day?
I don't think we are.
Fuck no.
We are we are not ready.
If you look at the
Uh
logs, we have to go through World War III first.
yeah, we gotta have the Bell riots, which I think are soon.
I
Um,
mean, it's on the precipice.
is it the year that the Bell riots do happen?
I'm
Let's
I'm
see.
I'm not saying I'm here for it because I don't want to die.
Let me look. Oh, it was supposed to happen in September of 2024.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, so we are technically kind of even with the timeline.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. So, of course, we'll be doing this episode, Aliens Resurrection, and then we'll also have The Faculty, and that will be the next episode in January. And don't forget, we're going to have more Twice Saga to come.
Why saga?
That's what I've decided to call it.
Yeah, I like it. That's going to be the title of the next episode.
There we go. And we will be covering the third one. I'm thinking we'll probably do that sometime this week, coming week, eh?
Eh?
So, eh?
Yeah, because it's got to come out and we're releasing every Tuesday this month.
So we'll do that one. And I'm almost wondering if we should make the last two movies into one
One.
episode. Because
Yeah,
I
I
haven't,
agree.
oh, okay. Because I was like, I have not seen the last two movies. I don't know, because I feel like even the last Harry Potter ones, like I could have probably combined the last two movies, Deathly
Yeah.
Hollows
Well,
kind
because you
of
might as
thing.
well because
It's one cohesive
yeah,
plot with
it's
that
one
one.
movie. It's just split
Yeah.
into two for time's sake.
Exactly. So yeah, so that's probably how to do. So that looks like then we'll have two more mini-sodes in the Twice saga. And of course the last one will probably be like mini-sode and a half.
Yeah, it'll
Maybe.
probably be a full length episode
Yeah,
because the minisodes
maybe
have been running 30 minutes anyway.
that's true. So yeah. So that might be a special full length as well bonus episode this
I was
month.
like, I guess they should only be called minisodes when we record them ourselves separately because that's the only time we can keep it down to a minimum.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, this is just like a mini series.
Hmm. That's good. Yes.
And then also, we're going to go ahead and announce February for you guys. This is one Jess came up with pretty early on, I think in the fall sometime.
Yeah, I think it was in like November.
Yeah. Yeah, because it took me a while to figure out mine. It's Face Your Fears February. We might have already mentioned it a little bit, and I still was like, yeah, I was like, I don't know what mine is yet. But now we got the titles for you. Jess was pretty easy. What are you going with?
Mine's arachnophobia.
Duh.
Duh. It's literally my biggest fear. And I credit this movie for giving me arachnophobia. And the reason why I came up with Face Your Fears February, also because I wanted to do this movie, but because I saw on two separate occasions Black Widows on my fucking front porch.
Yeah,
So
no
not only
bueno.
is my arachnophobia, like I already have a fear of spiders, that is like the top tier spider that I'm scared of.
I have had one on me before, a
A
black
Black
widow.
Widow?
I have, yeah.
How have I not heard this?
Oh, I was very little, so I have like very
Blech.
little recollection. I just know I was like laying on the couch. I must have been like 5, like that kind of like young.
I think you did tell me this and I blocked it out.
Probably, yeah. And my mom was like also, she was sitting on the couch and like I was laying on my back with my head like kind of towards her. I vaguely remember like, like a don't move, like, kind of situation command, like with urgency, like in the
Yeah.
voice.
And you're like, oh
And
shit.
yeah. And then I just remember my mom must like flung it off me. Like she was able to like brush it off me. And then I was like freaking out at that point. Like I'm probably, 5. And then
And
yeah.
where did it go?
I don't,
And
my
where did
mother
it
found
go?
it. I don't know. She had to
Okay,
find it,
good.
I think. Yeah, like I have no other recollection. I just remember and then her telling me like, oh my goodness, that was a Black Widow. And then by the time you're 5, like you already know those are like the deadliest spiders.
Yeah, I'm sure they're in
Like
cartoons even.
yeah. So Jessica's gonna face her fear. She's gonna watch this movie again.
I think it's been like 20 years since I've seen it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I have seen it since. I chose Mothman Prophecy,
You're
which people are gonna be like, Mothman? No,
scared of that?
I love him. I would love to meet the guy. Mine is bridges collapsing. I had a recurring dream when I was younger, and I'm just scared of like being on a bridge and like going off of it, or the bridge
Hmm.
collapsing, or like something happens where I'm in my car going in the water where a bridge is. Like,
Yeah,
and I
that
have a
would be
lot of
scary.
dreams throughout my childhood, my teenage years, even my adult life, where I'm in these situations. It is not pleasant. I don't like it. And we live in Florida. Obviously, we have to go over a lot of bridges. Like I have to go over a bridge every day at work.
You're like, it's a real fear.
Like, yeah. And they're doing bridge work now because they're building a new bridge. So now it's like even crazier. So that's super fun. So every day I kind of face my fear
Yeah. Like it's
already.
what is it called? That kind of therapy where you have
Oh,
to,
immersion therapy.
yeah,
Yes,
I'm doing immersion therapy every day.
exactly. And
I am too
then
because I live in the fucking woods.
I know, I know your yard is just filled with banana spiders
Yes. And had a wolf
and
spider
wolf
in my computer
spiders.
room the other day. Black widows on my porch.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, that's the price you got to pay for living in a badass, boonies a little bit. So, what you been watching? What you been doing?
So I finished My Wife and Kids.
Nice.
Yes. It kind of ended abruptly. Did you ever finish it?
I did not know. We kind of abandoned it a little bit because we got fully into Reba. So we're like, well, we'll finish Reba.
Oh, I can't believe you chose that over My Wife and Kids.
I know. Well, it's just because we had started it first, to be honest. So it was
Oh,
more,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
more of just this finish one before we like
Loyalty.
completely, yeah, just one to the other. So
Do you want me to tell you how it ends?
sure.
It ends with her wanting Michael to get a vasectomy because she doesn't want any chances of, getting pregnant again.
Hmm.
And of course, he doesn't go through with it.
Hmm.
And she goes to, I think, her doctor anyway. And she's pregnant. And that's how it ends.
Oh my God. How
Yeah,
depressing.
I know. I was like, what?
I don't know if I even want to finish it now.
It kind of got, I don't want to say it got worse. I felt so sorry for Jay, his wife.
Yeah.
Like, I just felt like she had kind of a shit end of a stick. Every time she wanted to do something, like everybody was constantly making fun of her, calling her fat, wouldn't let her do anything but be a housewife.
Yeah, and she was supposed to be like a really good like
She was like a
financial like yeah,
stockbroker.
like a stockbroker. Yeah. Oh my God, how disappointing.
So once I finished that, I saw on Netflix they also had Martin,
Oh,
and
Martin.
I literally hadn't watched that since it came out as a child, and it is so fucking good. It's way
Nice.
better than I remember it being. Like I remember it being super like over the top and like and living color style almost, you know? But it's got a
Okay.
lot of depth to it, really.
Nice. Well, and I was pretty young. Like I remember vaguely remember watching Martin and enjoying it, but I was a kid, so I probably did not understand most of the
Right.
like plot lines, I'm sure.
Yeah, I
So
think I was like
yeah.
8.
What did you watch it on?
Netflix. It's streaming on Netflix.
Oh, okay. I'll look it up. I'll give it a go again. Yeah, because I always loved Martin Lawrence.
But it's also got, Jay in it. I can't remember her name off the top of my head now.
Oh my God. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because I knew she was in it as Gina, his longtime
Mm.
girlfriend. So I knew that's where I saw her from when I watched My Wife and Kids.
Did not remember that at all.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah, that I
No,
remembered
no.
that. But yeah, so I recommend everybody to watch Martin again. And then me and my mom watched the new season of Squid Game.
Oh, how was that? I wasn't, it looked a little to me.
Eh, it
Yeah.
was a little eh. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're like super into Squid Game, I'd give it a go.
Hmm.
I wasn't like a huge. I didn't think the first season was like the end all be all.
I
To
enjoyed
be
it, but
honest,
yeah,
it
I
was all
watch,
right.
it's like I mean, Andrew and I, we watch a lot of anime and like we're familiar with Battle Royale. Like, so for us, it was kind of like just a retelling of those kind of
Oh, okay,
genre,
stories.
yeah,
Yeah,
stories. But we enjoyed it. But yeah, the second season, I'm like, should have just left it. Like, it could have just ended and it would have been great as just a mini series, like a
yeah.
one season
Or
series.
even I was just very disappointed with the ending. It just felt like it was kind of like a pointless season to me.
Mm.
Kind of like after they did everything, you're like, okay, but why?
Yeah, or you're like, that's stupid.
Yeah, it really that's how it ended for me. And then besides that, I restarted What We Do in the Shadows because the
Oh,
last season came
nice.
out.
I have to watch the last season and I might do exactly the same thing.
I didn't want to watch the last season yet. I wanted to go ahead and restart it.
Oh,
So it'd be
oh,
fresh when
okay.
I come to the last season.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Speaking of vampires, Andrew and I did go see Nosferatu.
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu. I told you it helped. It
It
helped.
didn't. That's the only way I can say it now.
It's hilarious.
How was it?
I think I will release a mini-sode.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but just to give a little teaser kind of the mini-sode, I loved it.
Oh, good.
And I'll get into it more yeah, when I release that. I think you'll really enjoy it too. Andrew did not like it as much.
Really?
Yeah, he gave it middle of the road. Like he thought it was
Okay.
fine, but he also wasn't like because I'll go, obviously, it's going to be cinematic, slower pace a little bit. I even kind of gave it a comparison with I'm like that gothic kind of noir. Like, did you watch Pale Blue Eye?
No. Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. Well, I like that one too. And
I've heard about it, but
yeah, I
yeah.
was kind of like, oh, it's kind of like one of those a little bit. Andrew was like, I think I like that one more. So for the people who've seen that one and Nosferatu, I think, I don't know. I thought that was a little crazy, but to each their own.
Yeah.
And then that same day, so we went and we watched a matinee. We were there at 11:40 watching Nosferatu.
Nosferatu.
Like a bunch of old people, but it was great because it was literally, I think, only one other couple that was in there.
That's my
So,
favorite way to watch the
ma,
movie.
yes. And then later that evening, we watched Lethal Weapon the same day.
In the theaters?
No, no, at home.
So what's wrong with that?
I just thought it was hilarious that we start the day with a brand new
Oh,
Nosferatu and then we ended the day with Lethal Weapon.
like the Mel Gibson one?
Yes. It was still good. Also, you kind of forget how serious the first one is in
Yes.
comparison.
I guess that's why I don't remember much of that one because I always like the later ones better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's way more serious and like Mel Gibson and it's like trauma.
Yeah, because
Um,
he's like damaged.
yeah, he's super crazy, but he does have good crazy eyes, so
He was so hot in that movie.
oh, the hair. It's
Mullet, I don't care.
it's a
They're
lot.
so back right now that I'm used to looking at them again.
I know they are. That is funny. And then we've just been watching. Andrew's been gathering a lot of digital media and making kind of like a digital catalog for us. And then he accidentally deleted all of it.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, silly, silly guy. So now it's just, it took a lot of time, because like these are larger like stuff that you have to get access to and everything and files and all this stuff. And
Right.
yeah, so he's redoing it now. And so we've been watching just Scrubs and kind of King of the Hill, because those were some of the surviving things that he didn't accidentally delete.
Scrubs
So
is always good. King of the Hill is
yeah,
always
yeah, we
good.
hadn't watched those in a long time. Oh my God, I just forget how good King of the Hill is. Like, I mean, I
Yeah.
love it and I always know it's good, but then every time I go back and watch it, I'm like, superb. Like
It's been
I
a
just,
while since I've watched because I watched the whole series from start to finish
hmm
1 year,
hmm
but I don't remember how long ago that was now.
yeah, I know. It's great. It's one of my favorites. Like it's solidified that I really do think when I get ever another tattoo again, it's gonna be like a old school looking like heart and it's gonna have Hank Hill's butt.
Hank Hill booty.
Yeah, have that little Hank Hill boot. I thought that would be just so funny. And then we've also watched Tremors. That was a fun one to
Nice.
watch. We've been watching this anime called Solo Leveling. It's good. I recommend it if you like the kind of isekai a little bit, but these are like dungeons kind of like so you're going back and forth. I guess it's not isekai. I don't know what it is, but either way, it's like a dungeon crawler. So I guess would be a good description. Yeah, and then I was out of town for work. I went to a like expo thing that we have to do in Orlando. So I watched a little Forensic Files to lull me to
Mm-hmm.
sleep, and then
The huge.
yep, and then I started reading Little Women on the flights. So yeah, and I might do like a compare and contrast episode for the movie to the book, possibly.
Nice.
So that's what I've been up to. And yeah, we made our announcement, so let's do it, man. In this episode, we watched 1997's Alien Resurrection.
Aliens.
Aliens! Almost done waiting?
Almost done waiting.
It was directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet. It was written by Joss Whedon.
I saw that.
It was based on characters by Dan O'Bannon and Ronald Shusett. It was produced by Gordon Carroll, David Giler, Sigourney Weaver, Walter Hill, and Bill Bidolato. That one was hard to say. It was starring Sigourney Weaver, Winona Ryder, Ron Perlman, Dan Hedaya, J.E. Freeman, Brad Dourif, and Michael Wincott. Cinematography by Darius Kondiji. Edited by Hervé Schneid. Music by John Frizzle. It was released November 1997. And the running time, 109 minutes. So not too long,
Didn't
not
remember
too
being that
short.
long.
Yeah, it was pretty long. The budget was 70 million, box office 161.4. So still did pretty well, monetarily.
I mean, I my memories of it were way better than it actually was.
Yeah. So we'll get into the reasonings with that. So the original idea for the movie was for Newt to be the one to be cloned, not Ripley. Um
Okay.
this was what Joss Whedon had in mind. She was to be somewhat of a superhuman with considerable strength and master fighting skills. He had brought it into the project. He drafted a 30-page concept story. But the studio was really concerned that fans would not accept an Alien movie without Ellen Ripley. They're like, in their mind, she was the Alien
I mean, I
franchise.
could see that for sure.
But I mean, when she did Alien 3, she said then, this is it, I'm done. So
Mm.
she wasn't interested. And so this was like where the beginnings kind of, it all starts to change. But they offered her $11 million. dollars.
Mm. Yeah, that's probably a lot back then.
And she's quoted as saying, they basically drove a dump truck full of money to my house. And so she was paid, that sum was equal to the entire budget of the original Alien movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so by the fourth movie, she was making like entire movie budgets as, yeah, her salary. And that's what it took to get her to do it. That's how much the studio wanted that. And so then Whedon had to change his story to where it was Ellen Ripley instead of Newt. So obviously that changed things because she
The whole
died.
story's changed. Yeah, because she did.
Yeah. And so he's quoted as, it wasn't a question of doing everything differently. Although they changed the ending, it was mostly a matter of doing everything wrong. They said the lines, but they said them all wrong, and they cast it wrong, and they designed it wrong, and they scored it wrong. They did everything wrong they could possibly do. That's actually a fascinating lesson in filmmaking because everything they did reflects back to the script or looks like something from it. And people assume that if I hated it, then they changed the script. But it wasn't so much they changed it, they just executed it in such a ghastly fashion, they rendered it unwatchable. Which I thought was
Who
a
said
little
that?
fucked up. Joss Whedon.
Oh,
Because I'm like,
wow.
you can
Isn't he
take,
the per
he's the writer.
Oh,
And so
okay.
I'm like, you can take a little bit of the blame, buddy. Like, he's basically saying, because I guess the movie, the overall movie, when it's done, it's pretty close to the script. Like he said, besides, I guess they changed the ending some. So I'm like, he's just saying, oh, well, they all did their jobs wrong. The script was fine. But I'm like, no, no,
You
like it
still
was
wrote the dialogue, buddy.
exactly.
And that wasn't a great dialogue, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so he basically blamed the director, Jean-Pierre, for making it unwatchable. But many years later, Jean-Pierre responded by saying, Whedon's very good at making films for American geeks, something for morons. Because I'll admit I've never been a huge Joss Whedon fan. I remember when the Avengers came out and everyone was raving about it, and I saw it. I have a review somewhere on Facebook when I finally watched it and talked about how overrated it was.
Yeah.
And I never liked Buffy. I thought Firefly was stupid. I'm one of those people where I was like, I mean, I get why Firefly was canceled. Like, sorry about
I
it.
didn't watch Buffy. I didn't watch Firefly.
Yeah,
I've
didn't
never
watch
been a
Angel.
hugely into Marvel.
Yeah, the only thing I can say that he did well was he helped write Toy Story. So I'll give him fucking
Okay.
that, obviously. And I did like The Cabin in the Woods, and I guess he did also help write that with Drew Goddard, who directed it.
I haven't seen that
So
either.
yeah, no, I did enjoy that one, but other than that, I do think he's a little overrated too. So
Oh, and
yeah, so
isn't he kind of like a
he's
prick
also a
too?
predator. Yeah, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, we're always saying fuck that guy when
Yeah.
we know someone involved in the film has been doing shit like that. So
We are
fuck Joss
never on the
Whedon.
predator side, I can
No,
tell you that.
never, never. And also, like I said, just not taking any accountability. Like, you know what I mean? Like saying it was everyone else. Like, fuck you. Sigourney
Yeah.
Weaver was amazing. So go fuck
Yeah,
yourself.
as always.
Yeah, I just think it's a little fucked up of him. Obviously, he doesn't like to take accountability for anything, is all I'm saying. Burn.
Burn.
So the director didn't speak English at the time of shooting, and translators were used to communicate. So by 2003, though, he was fluent in English to where he could record a director's commentary. So you can always check that out if you're interested. And he basically remains proud of the film, but he swore off working in Hollywood ever again due to how bad of experience he had with the studio and obviously with Whedon and stuff. Whedon also really wanted the third act to take place on Earth. the budgets just kind of wouldn't allow for everything that they would need to kind of make this, weird post-apocalyptic Earth. And the franchise actually has never been there. It's all been,
In
in
space.
space and on other planets. So they were like, that would have been interesting. But yeah, no, didn't happen. Also, the original Xenomorph Queen props were lost, and the molds were far too damaged to be used again. So
Oh
they
no.
actually, yeah, so they had actually found an alien superfan who had a life-size xenomorph in their personal collection. And
Wow.
and that's what they did the mold on. So I'm just saying, superfans come in incredibly
Handy.
handy.
That's crazy. That reminds me of an episode of Frasier.
I know. Well, and just because could you imagine, like, I don't know, like, because we're movie dorks, I mean, the knowing that the original Xenomorph Queen, like that those props were lost,
Yeah.
so, like, is it almost like when you hear about artifacts, like when people like stolen them and they're like just hoarding them away for themselves? Like, is it that
Yeah.
situation, or were they literally like damaged
Thrown
and then just
away.
like thrown away and stuff? Like, that's crazy to me because it's like, I mean, yeah, it's a piece of history. Oh my God.
I mean, they had a ride at Disney World for it.
I know that
So,
traumatized me. We've shared the story.
okay, well then there was two. Remember the one where it came through the ceiling?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Like the
that's
Hollywood ride?
the Hollywood ride. Yeah. No, the
But it
other
still
one
was the
was
fucking
terrifying.
alien, like
I
from
know.
Aliens.
It's great. I
And
loved
it
it.
dripped saliva on you.
Apparently, Winona Ryder accepted the role without even reading the script because she was just that excited to be in an alien movie, basically. She's like,
Oh,
no.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's like, you don't even have to. Yeah. It's like, awesome. I love that. Which I mean, I get it. Like during that
Mm-hmm.
time, like those were such big movies, everyone loved them. And so apparently Weaver trained so much for the basketball scene that she actually pulled off that first shot in the first take. Like did that
Wow.
complete, yeah. And Ron Perlman was so caught up in the moment that he almost ruined the shot because his amazed reaction was so like he was, so I feel throughout the movie that he is always kind of like,
Genuinely
impressed, genuinely
impressed.
impressed with her. It's like, I bet it was from that. So
I
the
mean,
rest of
she
the
was
movie, he,
fucking ripped
she
in
was
this
ripped,
movie.
and I feel like he was just smitten, like in
Yeah.
actuality.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone was. I feel like
Yeah.
everyone there, this movie should have just been called Alien Smitten. Ron Perlman also almost drowned doing the underwater scene.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, he like kind of knocked himself out. He hit his head, like when because I'm sure doing any scenes like that is probably incredibly difficult. I'm not really like, I don't know if I could hold my breath for that long
I know I could
either.
not. I
Like,
have
there's
asthma.
no way. Yeah. So he had to be rescued by crew members. And then during the same filming of the very scene, Winona Ryder was also having basically an anxiety attack because it was the first time, apparently, that she had gone fully underwater since she also had a near drowning experience when she was like 12.
Oh,
Um,
shit.
so there was some shit going on for the underwater sequence, and it took 3 weeks to shoot. So I thought that was pretty crazy
Just the
because
underwater scene.
yeah, in general, and then seeing all the shit that happened behind it, I'm like,
What
checks out.
torture then?
I know.
3 weeks of like panic attacks and near drowning and holding your breath underwater and
Yeah, it was probably a lot. And then with the aliens and stuff, like I don't even want to imagine. Yeah, so good for them at least pulling it off.
mm-hmm.
Roger Ebert gave this movie 1.5 stars.
Wow.
Yeah. So even though like the budget and the box office numbers I gave you were a positive by any stretch of the word, really, it did not open at number one. It actually was behind Disney's Flubber.
Flubber.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
we watched
Flubber is
the
a
shit out of that movie.
yeah, that was a good movie. So I
Robin Williams, you can't go wrong.
and it was still kind of alien-like. I mean, he was Flubber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was from outer space, wasn't he?
I don't remember. It's been
God,
that
I totally forgot about that movie.
Yeah, maybe we should do like a Robin Williams or something this
Yes, a
year.
preach.
And yeah, and we'll do Flubber and another one of his, maybe Mrs. Doubtfire, because that
Oh,
one's so
classic.
fucking good. But
I watch that one
we
all the
could also
time.
look and find something a little different of his, maybe.
Or maybe we can do a three for.
Oh yeah, three for so I got a lot of these facts from Halloween Year Round. It was a WordPress, so that was like fan made, and also Screen Rant, and then the Roger Ebert website as well. So with that, Jess is going to take it away with the gold summary.
The saga continues 200 years after Ripley sacrificed herself for the sake of humanity. Her erstwhile employers long gone, this time it is the military that resurrects the one-woman killing machine through genetic cloning to extract the alien from within her. But during the process, her DNA is fused with the Queen, and then the aliens escape. Now Ripley must decide where her allegiance lies. With her aliens or with her humans?
All right, so this was your pick. What were your memories? When was the last time you watched it? Do tell.
I actually watched it probably like 3 years ago when I rewatched all of the Aliens movies.
Yes, I remember you talking about your rewatch of those.
That might have been when I was either sick. Something was going on to where I
Hmm.
was on the couch for a while.
It might have been when you were recovering from your surgery.
It might have been, yeah, because I did
Hmm.
watch a lot of shit that year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I watched it, and that's when I was like, "This is terrible," because I had such fond memories of it. And it'd been so long before that since I'd watched it because I always, it was 97.
Hmm.
Loved the Aliens movies, Sigourney, Winona.
Hmm.
So I loved all of those ladies.
So you're thinking, how could this not be good?
And I remember like it being like dark and moody and, all of the like face close ups of them, the alien rubbing faces.
Yes, there was a lot of that.
There was a lot of that.
A lot of cuddling, alien
Yeah,
cuddling is
alien
what it,
snuggles.
alien snuggles.
And then watching it, I'm like, oh my God. And I know it didn't happen, but in my mind, like that final scene when the alien's looking at her when he's getting his butthole sucked out. I just imagined him going, Mama,
Oh no, Mama.
Mama.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh man.
Yeah, see, I have no recollections of this film. Even watching it last night, I could tell you it was basically like my first time. I vaguely remembered the wheelchair guy.
Okay.
Like, I kind of remembered him. And then that's kind of it, I think. Like, I don't know
I remember
why.
his chair being
I remember,
cool.
yeah, I think that was it. Was like, oh, he had
Yeah.
a cool chair. And that, and yeah, like I said, I don't remember Winona Ryder like at all. Yeah, so
Yeah, I
this
knew she
basically,
was like a cyborg or whatever,
yeah,
synth.
this almost felt like a first time watch. And then thinking back to it, I'm like, you know what? I may have only truly like watched the first two Alien movies. I think
Yeah.
the others were more of like, I never watched them all the way. It was more of like, oh, they're on TV or something. And so, you're getting like little TV edits and then there's
Right.
commercials and then I may not have even fully finished it kind of thing.
Well, I guess next
Um
year we're gonna have to watch the third Aliens because it's pretty bad too.
Yeah. So I don't mind it. I think watching this one also will solidify for me because I remember I'm like, oh, Jess has always been a pretty big Aliens franchise fan, but I always want to like the Alien franchise more than what I do.
Right.
And you know, because I mean it's sci-fi, it should be everything I love. You know, like I do like Sigourney Weaver. I think Ripley is a strong character.
Hmm.
But still, I just something I'm like never fully on board, I guess. And like you said, they're just because they're kind of, you know, these are kind of bad.
Yeah. And it's too bad because the first two, like the first one is perfect,
Yes,
I
yes, I
think.
agree with you. Uh-huh. It's just phenomenal. So I
Yeah.
guess because the first was so good, it was just really hard to top it from
And the
there.
second one was good in the day. Like,
Enjoyable. Yeah.
yeah, it was enjoyable.
Hmm.
And when it came out, I still have fond memories of it,
Hmm. Yeah.
especially her in that like robot suit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But the third one was boring, kind of.
Yeah, because that's the prison colony one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
then this one is just
mhm.
almost inexcusable.
Yeah. With that, we're gonna get right into it. So it opens with some really rough CGI
Yes.
to just give you a taste of what's to come.
And you're like, oh no.
Yeah, and then they have a guy, and then he like puts it in a straw and spitballs the bug corpse, and I'm just like, why? Like, ew. I don't know. It just set the whole tone of the movie off for me.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I'm not going to take this movie seriously.
Yeah, I'm like, ugh, no, I already kind of don't like it. So it's kind of a welcome aboard situation.
Hmm.
You're on, you know, some kind of like uh ship base in fucking space. And oh, I just wanted to point out too, in the fun facts, I totally forgot to mention this, but when Whedon was writing this, a lot of the ragtag crew, the cargo pirate kind of people, this kind of what inspired him to do Firefly. So that also contributes.
Hmm.
I just want to point out that while he wants to blame them and blah blah blah, and then he's like, "Oh, Firefly still got canceled after one season. Like it didn't even get finished." I'm gonna point that out. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's one of those gone too soon." It was not.
Damn.
And I feel like, and then knowing this was like the kickoff and how bad this is, I'm like, no, sir, it's just bad.
You're like, it's just you.
It's you.
You weren't
So you
aliens.
burnt it. And
It's work.
so yeah, I just wanted to get that tirade out of my system right in the beginning.
Amen.
Yeah. So yeah, so we meet Ripley, but we know it's not like actually Ripley. It is like a clone, and they are extracting a fucking alien right out her chest.
Right out it.
Raw out it.
Cut the little umbilical cord.
Yes,
And it
yeah.
was that was the queen? Is that
Yes.
I'm taking okay.
Yes. That was the queen. That was the whole thing.
Okay.
She has her blood
Queen
was yeah,
DNA.
because she had been infected on the prison planet and everything. So basically what they're implying is that yeah, they could take the DNA and be able to fully create the Ripley as she was, I guess, when she had died with the alien in her. So that way, so that
Okay. That
yes,
makes
so that
sense.
way they could grow the queen alien again, and then they could do all their other fucking experiments they've been doing. Because they
Okay.
mention even that they're like, oh, think of all the things we could do if we like can get them tamed. So I so I
Right.
think that was their goal because then we find out they've been doing genetic crossing basically is also was the goal for this between the human Ripley and then but also giving the queen human DNA. Because I guess the ultimate goal for that was not where she has to lay eggs and have her little face huggers and that whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's to make
She can
it
just give
to where
birth.
she can give birth and have a human like womb essentially. So
Mm-hmm.
it's fucked up.
Turn her into a mammal.
Yeah, yeah, essentially. That's what they're trying to do. And then like turn her into like just a breeding thing already. Like, I mean, I know she already was, but then this just makes it even more fucked up.
Yeah,
Like,
it's sick.
this is just where I'm like, Joss Whedon hates fucking women.
Oh, right.
Like,
I was like, this is like Nazi shit.
I
Like
know.
that kind of genetic
Yeah,
experimenting.
it is awful. But yeah, so that's the start of the movie. That obviously is not how, like, everything we talked about, this is throughout the film that you're discovering.
Yeah, it's not right away.
Yeah, so this all, is what you uncover. But to begin with, they have her in that little like cocoon, that muslin fabric cocoon afterwards, because they decide to keep her alive because she's been like the best one and actually successful. Basically, they've got what they wanted out of it. Because as well, you
Hmm.
find out later, you see all of their failed experiments. They call her number 8, because again, she's not, technically Ripley. But then they
Right.
also tell us that she's retained her memories too. Like most of them, still certain things she can't. Like she obviously didn't remember Newt's name.
Right.
Oh, and did you also catch the when she did remember her company a little bit, and then they were talking about how they're like, well, you don't have to worry about it. None of that stuff exists anymore. Like we're the government. We're here. Like we have like, a goal and a plan. And then they're talking about how they're the thing, and they're like bought out by Walmart. And I'm like, that
Yeah, I saw. I
I
heard
was
that.
like, that 100% makes sense. In 97, they saw it coming.
Right. It's crazy.
I will give them that
I was like,
line.
yeah, I could. You called it.
Yeah, because she does warn them, as she always does. So it is still a little formulaic, you know, at
Hmm.
this point. And then we also get introduced to the crew, like I called them like space pirates, whatever, thieves, whatever you want to call them, because they have Winona on there, and the crew is basically implying that she is new, and they talk of her very inappropriately as well.
Yeah.
Everybody. The guy and the engineer guy who is in the wheelchair, he is like the only semi-decent person, it seems like.
Right.
Everyone
And he's
else,
obviously in love with her.
yeah, and everyone else is kind of like a piece of shit.
The captain's all right.
I mean, no, I don't like him. And there,
Mm.
just something about him. I'm like, no, no, no.
You don't like his
It's,
voice.
what was it, Ilgan or whatever his name? Yeah,
Elgin.
Elgin, and his girl, all of it. I don't know. Again, yeah, I just didn't like him. And I'm glad he died early. Like he was like the first one to go. But again, it's
Mm.
classic. This is still, like I said, it's the classic formula, and no one believes her. There is already some tension basically all the time between the crew and then the like the military people. So, you got that. It has all the
Cher's dad.
makings. Yeah, Cher's dad, I know. He's the general, the guy from
Yeah.
also, yeah, Clue
Clueless.
and Clue, yeah, Clueless,
Clue and Clueless.
and Night at the Roxbury, I believe as well. He was the
Yep, he's the
dad.
dad in that.
He's always a dad.
Did you see him when he was like awaking from his slumber and he sat up and how hairy his shoulders were? It was the hair standing up like an inch off his shoulder.
He's a hairy little man.
He was a hairy man. So funny.
So he basically says, like, thanks for bringing our cargo. And then the Elgin what's, I can never pronounce,
Elgin.
Elgin is already knows, like, we kind of know something's up. Like, you are in like unrestricted space or whatever. So basically, they're like in international waters, if you will.
Hmm.
And
They hijacked cargo
of people in cryo tubes to bring to them.
unwitched to experiment on.
Yes. So it's already fucked up. I'm like, this is why this crew is pieces of shit. Like they were literally, it wasn't that they were stealing things. They were stealing people who were asleep and you didn't know what they were going to do to them. Like
Hmm.
I thought at first maybe they stole prisoners or something.
Right.
like
That's
that
what I
were
thought it
meant to
was.
be like executed anyway or something like that, you know, which I
You're like,
mean,
that makes it better.
like if that makes it better, I don't know. But these are people literally like going to go to work, like,
Yeah, they're going to like a work, was it like a camp or
or
something?
no, he was a minor. Like he
Oh,
basically,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
like, you
yeah.
know, it was that kind of thing. So I was like, oh my God. And again, already they've kind of pointed out that Winona Ryder's character, she's called Call, and she is an odd woman out, essentially, is what they're implying the whole time.
Yeah.
And they do meet Ripley, the basketball scene. Again, though, I like how she's like better than Ron Perlman. Uh,
Oh, I love that part.
yeah, that was great. But yeah, he's such a sleaze in this one.
I wrote down one of his quotes. I'm not the man with whom to
I
fuck.
wrote that same thing. I was like, his name's Johnner. And I was like,
John.
I was like, but he can say with whom?
With whom to fuck. Oh, that was so funny.
Yeah, so right away, I already, like I said, I had no recollection of this film. So I was immediately like, oh, okay, so Winona Ryder probably like knows about the aliens and she's some kind of spy or something.
Hmm.
So obviously they give it away pretty early because that's like on the first page of my notes. And of course, the scientists are doing their scientist stuff and antagonizing the fucking aliens. Because why wouldn't they?
They're trying to tame them.
Yeah, they're trying to tame them, and essentially they are just like torturing them. So you're kind of like, I mean, you get at least why the aliens are like, fuck y'all.
Yeah, right. You're trying to experiment on us too.
I know. And you just get the classic kind of, yeah, alien movie. I don't really know what more to say other than this is just, it's the same old kind of, but the script isn't that great, and some of the actors are trying, but again, you have to kind of like with Ripley, we like her character. You know what I mean? Like, so you do have
Yeah.
something to root for. We at least did get to see this different, like it is Ripley, but it isn't Ripley, and Sigourney got to act a little differently. Because you are like, ooh, what side is she gonna say? Because she hints to like, you know, these are my babies, and we find out that she does have all these kind of connections with the aliens now, and her blood is acid, and just a bunch of crazy shit. And they even get the one scene where she finds the 1 through 7 experiments, and they're just like this horrid, like you said, like Nazi shit, you know, like what you
Yeah.
imagine, like the worst thing scientists can fucking try to do with things. And then
And to know that that's how she used it's basically her, like seeing herself being tortured.
yeah, yeah. And then one was actually like kept alive. And she's just like, kill me. And so, and this is where Andrew watched, he didn't watch all of it with me, but he came in like towards the like last half. And he was like, because he remembered this movie pretty well. So he was just like, oh, yeah, I didn't like this one very much. And like, he was like, I thought Sigourney Weaver was great. It seems like that's the consensus. Like everyone likes
Yeah.
Sigourney, but he said he thought this was the most fucked up scene because he was like, you burn her alive.
Yeah.
Like she's
Like
already in
that's how you kill her?
horrible pain. Like just pop her once at least before you set
Yeah, they
everything
had
on
guns.
fire. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I
And that's
said.
what I said. I was like, Joss Whedon hates women.
Hmm.
It's just so fucked up. And you do discover, of course, that Winona Ryder, not only is she essentially a terrorist in the beginning, uh she had like the little breath sprays like on a keychain, which I thought was great. I
Yeah.
called it a spit chain.
And I'm like, how'd you get that? How?
Yeah,
Because it's
because
you have to go, and I was like,
exactly.
what? Would they analyze the breath? What's in your breath?
Well, I guess your spit DNA particles. I don't know, but it seems silly. And then
Yeah, it was very
also,
silly.
because they kind of imply that she was one of the only what do they call them? Autons or whatever,
Since
sents to like survive. So how did she get this stuff and this equipment? And she says she's never been on Earth. So where did she come from?
I don't know, wherever the robots made robots.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought this
Because they
happened on
said they
Earth.
were It said that they were the robots designed by robots,
Yeah.
so maybe they had their own
Yeah.
planet. Like,
Like the Cylons.
hmm
So we do get that. And like, of course, that comes out pretty early on. I would say in the first half of the movie, because again, they're antagonizing these aliens, but the aliens aren't fucking dumb. I mean, they're like apex predators, kind of, you know? So they do figure out that they're like, we're going to sacrifice one of us because then our acid blood will be enough to break through the grates and stuff that's underneath them,
right.
essentially.
And I'm like, they didn't think about that. How would they not have thought about
I
that?
know. I'm like, you have a facility specifically to breed fucking aliens, and then this is how you fucking do it. Like, you didn't learn anything from, I guess, because it happened 200 years ago. I don't know. Was like information lost? Like, what the fuck are you doing? If you know that it could cure this or help with that, then how could you not make a facility that was capable of holding, like, its acid? Like, nothing should have been able to react with its spit. Like, you should have had that
Exactly.
figured out in advance. That's bad science.
Well, I guess because it wasn't like ordained.
Yeah, I guess so. That's true.
It was like secret experiments.
But someone's paying for this shit.
True.
Like you can't get like, I
Yeah,
mean,
but
I
look
don't
at
care
that.
how far in the
Look
future.
at that submarine that blew up.
That's true. That's true. Some rich guy who's
Doesn't
just
give
like,
a
we're
shit
gonna
about the
half-ass
actual
it.
science behind it.
Yeah, we're gonna half-ass it, guys.
He's like, I just want to play around, see what happens.
Yeah, fuck around and find
Yeah,
out. That's what they
basically.
do,
That's
man.
exactly what they do.
And that's exactly what happens because, of course, then all the aliens had escaped. And then it's kind of like almost like a video game for them. Like they basically have this path that they have to take to get to their ship, and the aliens have like made a lot of obstacles in their way.
And I like how Winona can conveniently just tap into the whole mainframe through her freckle.
Yes, we do find that out because as they've made their path, we've done the underwater scene. We've mentioned that. That is part of it.
But what did you think about the hybrid baby? I have to know that.
Okay, so yeah, once that's what we're gonna get to, because like right when they're towards the end and they're trying to get out of there, that's when we get more face to face with the queen, what was happening with her. It's when we find out she's now giving birth like a fucking human kind of.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah, and
what's up
then
with that like fire ant body?
yeah, it's like a fire ant body, and like a cow ant almost or
Yeah.
something. And then it has its little baby, and the aliens are like, what's his name? H.R. Geiger or however you say it, that designed the aliens. Like
Right.
they are like fucking slick. They
Yeah.
are like oil, like an oil sheen and chrome Terminator. Like, they're sexy, but they're not, but they're
Yeah.
scary, but
Yeah.
they're, like, and this is the complete
Yeah,
opposite.
right.
I did see one review where they like were like, what the fuck is this? Like, it was such a like, bumbling, like almost like a caveman. You know what I mean? Like
Neanderthal.
Neanderthal, like it was just horrible and clunky, and like everything that makes the aliens, they just took that
And
away.
why was it
And they gave
white?
us because it's supposed to be mixed with like human. Like that's the whole thing. Like
I
not
guess I was
only
supposed to
did
look like skin.
Ripley. Yeah, I think so. Because not only did Ripley get like this stuff with sharing with the queen, it's vice versa. So the queen has like these human traits now too. So I guess that was to create what they thought was going to be this alien that could be tamed and useful. I don't know.
Oh,
But
okay.
I think that was what the goal was. I think they were breeding to breed to breed to breed to like keep, kind of making, yeah, like genetically breeding and making these things till it was something that they could make pliable and take advantage of.
Right. Super soldiers, essentially.
Uh-huh. Or yeah, or whatever. Yeah, their intentions are. And it was god awful. I hated Alien Baby. That's that's what I called him.
Uh, I still was like, oh my God, it was so funny. So funny looking.
I mean, when you said what you imagine its voice sounding like, that is also what, like, you're
Like
spot
baby
on.
Huey.
Like baby Huey shit or something. Yeah, exactly. Like it was like, well, I thought he said, or I don't
Yeah.
know, like
Mama? You're not my mama.
or he's like the dumb like vulture, like from the old
Yeah,
Warner
right.
Brother like cartoon, or
Doll.
I'm looking for a baby bumblebee. Like he's like I feel like that's what Baby Alien was. And I will say, for me, the best scene was him getting pulled into space by his butthole. That was that was that was the best scene in the whole movie. That was, and it's just like, and then it's all his little bits are going out frozen,
Yeah.
like
Those little bits.
his little bits, and then when it shows him like getting sucked through, then it's like his intestines and like all this other stuff, and like I was like, yes, yes, that's be gone, alien baby.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, but it was the best
What
scene.
also I thought was hilarious is that when the alien was giving birth to him,
Hmm.
the scientist just happened to be cocooned down there to explain everything going on.
Exactly. It was
She thinks
so
you're, he thinks you're her mother.
it was so bad. And that's why I'm like, why did it kill its actual mother, but then think Sigourney Weaver's the mother? Like they don't actually
Mm-mm,
like
say any of
really
that
explain that.
because I
Uh
this vagina just came out of no, that can't possibly be my mother.
I yeah, there's
You were a surrogate, bitch. That's my real mom.
yeah, that's what I feel like I guess they were implying. But yeah,
But
the
really,
one
that would be his
scientist
grandmother.
yeah, the one scientist, yeah, they're able to explain it all, but then also be killed by the alien. But also, why, if she doesn't need to lay eggs, then why are all these people like cocooned up? Are they also food?
I guess.
Okay.
Because she said at
Yeah.
one
So
point that she called themselves meat. So I'm assuming they eat them too.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay. So I was like making sure about that. But one by one, the crew is essentially picked off with the smaller characters. You had, again, the captain who you thought would be more on there, but he isn't. They do find one of the guys that they were using, the sleeper people, to incubate the eggs. But then why did they need to incubate more eggs that way? Like, what was the purpose of creating the regular aliens?
I don't know. That's where they were. That's where they fucked up.
Yeah, because that seems like the worst part. Because once they were getting out,
I think he was trying
that
to
was the
train
major
them.
issue. It's still okay. It's so ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
that's where this movie, yeah, you're just like, but why? But this is silly. But it's like, ooh, they're scientists with nefarious things, but like, they don't actually, it just seems like there's no rhyme or reason to it ultimately.
It's like the scientist was obviously wanting to fuck him.
Yeah.
That was his main goal, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, and like I said, they eventually make it onto their shitty ship or whatever
Shitty
because they
ship.
do find out that when there was the emergency and the aliens escape and all that, that the emergency scenario was for it to go back to home, and home is Earth.
And why?
And why would you do that? You're in restricted space. You're doing shit that you know is very dangerous. And that's your emergency protocol is to go back and bring these things to Earth
So
that
they
could
could
fuck
wipe
up
out Earth.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, stupid, just stupid all around. And then, so they know they're on their way there, and then they're gonna program that at least to crash into it. So hopefully it'll destroy and kill all the other aliens. Because we find out there's not enough juice left to like fully blow it. So I'm assuming that this is where it landed, possibly in Antarctica or whatever, because that's when we get like AVP later.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know. That's my thoughts.
It would have to be because what other uninhabited place would there be?
Hmm. But then they do show Earth eventually, because they say as this Ripley has never been actually to Earth, like, and then neither we find out has Winona Ryder's character. They've taken a liking to each other. They've survived this entire journey, and then we see Earth, and it's just this like vast wasteland. It looks like Mars, kind of.
Right.
and there's like half of like the Eiffel Tower or some shit. So they're like, so we know France is just demolished. And I kind of at the end that I'm like, was Earth really worth saving?
Right? I mean, it looks kind of like a shithole. They even call it a shithole.
Yeah, and I'm like, and where are all the people? So interesting. So yeah, ultimately, I felt like this movie was pointless, and I felt like Earth was not really worth saving. Despite Winona Ryder's little robot self saying, "Well, I was programmed to save them, and I can't watch them kill themselves," and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, but it seems like you kind of should. Like at this point, I don't know if I'm on humanity's side.
Seems like they all kind of suck, but they're all like these people.
Yeah, it's like 200 years later. Like no one's learned a fucking lesson.
Yeah,
Like
that sounds kind of realistic, though, doesn't it?
exactly. That's why I'm like, let them die out. Like just like the aliens. Let it's maybe it's time for the aliens to have their time in the sun, is all I'm saying.
Let them deforest, and then it'll grow back the way it's supposed
Yeah.
to.
We'll see how it goes.
Life finds a way.
Yeah. I did not, yeah, enjoy this one that much. I'd probably give it like I still think Roger Ebert with the 1.5 star. I was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. I'd probably give it like a 2, like it was
Hmm.
still like an alien movie. There was kind of, the alien kills. You got a little bit of that. Like I said, I enjoyed the thing getting sucked out into space.
A
Some decent little practical effects, at least.
little bit, yeah.
So that alone gets a star.
I enjoyed watching
And
Sigourney Weaver
yeah,
and Winona Ryder together.
yes.
I wish they could have had their own spinoff.
Winona was okay in this. I do give it more to Sigourney
Oh, for sure.
for sure, because Winona Ryder's character had a lot of just like kind of like I'm gonna stand here with my mouth open a little bit, not knowing what to do.
Even though I'm a fucking robot.
Yeah, that's when I was like, okay, this is it's kind of silly.
They're dripping that white whatever oil.
Yeah, her
Robot
lubricants
fluid.
and
Yeah.
oils and fluids. So obviously you still think this is also a little rough. Will this be the last time you watch it?
Um, I don't know. No, I'd probably watch it again if I'm watching the whole franchise.
Yeah, I agree. I would maybe if I'm watching the whole franchise again, I would still end it probably with that.
Include it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
go into that way I can go into AVP and stuff later because I did enjoy those. I liked Prometheus.
I watched all those. Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't I don't
so
think I've included AVP in my Alien watch last time.
yeah.
I included like Prometheus, and I
Hmm.
think there was one after that, wasn't there?
I believe so, yeah. And that one wasn't as good, I think, but
Yeah, I don't even remember it, to be honest.
yeah, I remember liking Prometheus more. But overall, yeah, like I said, I'd probably give it like a two out of five.
Hmm.
Is where I would stick.
That
And
seems
yeah,
fair.
yeah, it seems fair. And like I said, yeah, I'd probably only watch it again if I'm gonna actually dive into the series and do the whole thing.
Agreed.
Yeah, so that was it. That was Aliens Resurrection.
Aren't you glad you watched it?
Super glad. I mean, I didn't remember it. So honestly, yeah, like I can't say that like, oh, I hated it. This was awful. Like it was fun to watch because I had no memories whatsoever.
Yeah.
So,
And it was
um,
so bad. It was, you know,
yeah.
worth the watch, I think.
And we broke it up a little too. Like I watched the first half and then I like stopped and like cooked dinner and stuff. And then I think we watched like 15 minutes of something else because I don't like to take notes when I'm eting and things like
Hmm.
that. So I took a break and then jumped back into it. So it was fine. Like, yeah, watching it like that. Had a little palate cleanser.
Right. Like, let's get that taste out of my mouth and then go back.
Yeah. Well, as always, guys, you can find us at Film Gazers. That is on the social medias. And you can always check us out on Discord. Come join the chit-chatting, where we've been a lot better going into this
Hmm.
new year now of being a little more
Active?
involved. Yeah,
Yes,
active.
that's the word.
Yeah. Sharing a little more. Also, try to find us on Letterboxd. I'll put our information just out on social media as well, so you can always go and look and find us. I believe I'm still Steffers on there on Letterboxd.
I'm the dude 939.
There we go. So yeah, I'll have to look it up though. I might be like Stephers 850 or something. Yeah. So we'll share that info in the Discord as well as on our social media if you would just like to kind of see our ratings and what we're watching, because I do upkeep my diary on there.
No, I do not.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I do. That's the one thing I'm pretty on top of. So if you want to join me on there, you're more than welcome to. And as we announced, we got the faculty coming next episode. You're gonna have a mini-sode as well as probably a full-length special for the Twi saga. And then we'll have Face Your Fears February. So we're really kicking off 2025 with a lot of fun things, I feel like.
With a bang.
Yeah, and we hope everyone else has a really great start to their new year. And I mean, it's got to get fucking better because 2024 sucked. I already know it is already better. I've been able to keep busy. I recovered from my tooth fiasco. So yeah, here's to looking up. Things are looking up, and we're gonna have a really fun, exciting year.
Yes.
So
Damn
with
it.
damn it. So looking forward to the next episode with you guys. And for us, it's time to hit the dust of trail.
Until next time.
Later,
Later, taters.
taters.